The morning routine we got wrong. For as long as most of us can remember, we have been told a very specific story about how a healthy morning is supposed to look. You wake up with the sun, stretch your limbs, and head straight to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. We were raised on the golden rule that breakfast is the absolute fuel for our day, and that skipping or delaying is a terrible mistake for our metabolism. It is a habit deeply woven into the fabric of our daily lives, passed down through generations. But what if the rules of the game change as the pages of the calendar turn? What if the ideal time to eat breakfast at age 25 or 40 is radically different from the ideal time to eat when you cross the beautiful milestone of 70? Emerging clinical research into longevity and biological rhythms suggests something truly fascinating. For seniors over 70, waiting until after 8 a.m. to enjoy your very first meal of the day isn't just a casual preference. It can be a powerful, life-changing shift for your health. It turns out that as our bodies mature, our internal biological clocks, our digestive enzymes, and our hormonal surges shift on a fundamental level. By gently pushing breakfast back just a little bit later, we aren't starving ourselves. Instead, we are working in perfect harmony with our aging metabolism. Today, we are going to dive deep into why this simple, effortless 10-minute change to your morning schedule can unlock a flood of steady energy, soothe your digestion, and protect your vital health for years to come. The truth about cortisol and awakening shifts. To understand why eating immediately after waking can place a hidden strain on a senior's body, we have to look at a very important hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is often referred to as our body's natural alarm clock. In the early hours of the morning, just before you open your eyes, your brain signals your adrenal glands to release a powerful surge of cortisol. This surge is completely normal. Its job is to increase your heart rate, raise your blood pressure slightly, and mobilize stored sugars into your bloodstream to give you the initial energy to get out of bed. Medical professionals call this the cortisol awakening response. However, because cortisol naturally floods your system with glucose first thing in the morning, your body is already dealing with an internal fuel source. If you layer a heavy breakfast directly on top of that natural sugar surge at 6:30 or 7 a.m., you force your pancreas to pump out an intense amount of insulin to manage the overload, creating an artificial spike that exhausts your cells. Let's look at the detailed story of Arthur, a vibrant 73-year-old retired architect living in Ohio. For decades, Arthur woke up precisely at 6 a.m., brewed a pot of coffee, and immediately sat down to a plate of toast and eggs by 6:30 a.m. He considered this the hallmark of a disciplined life. However, over the last couple of years, Arthur noticed a frustrating pattern. By 9:30 a.m., he would feel an overwhelming wave of exhaustion, a heavy brain fog that made it impossible to focus on his morning crossword puzzle or enjoy his morning walk. His doctor suggested that by eating too early, during his peak cortisol surge, he was causing his blood sugar to skyrocket and then crash. Arthur agreed to a simple experiment. He kept his early wake-up time, but chose to simply read the newspaper, hydrate with water, and delay his breakfast until 8:30 a.m., once his natural cortisol levels had safely receded. Within just 2 weeks, that heavy 9:30 a.m. crash completely vanished. His energy became steady and sustained, proving that timing your food around your hormones is the true secret to morning vitality, giving an aging digestive system room to breathe. As we journey through our 70s and beyond, our internal organs experience a natural, graceful slowing down. One of the most significant changes happens within our digestive tract. As the years go by, our stomachs naturally produce less gastric acid, and our pancreas secretes fewer digestive enzymes. The muscular contractions that move food through our intestines, a process called peristalsis, also become more deliberate and slow. When we sleep, our digestive system enters a profound state of deep rest and restoration. If we force a heavy meal into our stomach the very moment we wake up, we are essentially asking a cold engine to run at maximum speed without giving it a chance to warm up. This frequently results in that uncomfortable, heavy feeling of indigestion, morning bloating, or a lingering lack of appetite that many seniors accept as an unavoidable part of getting older. Consider Margaret, a lovely 76-year-old grandmother from Surrey, England. Margaret loved her mornings, but she constantly struggled with a sour stomach and mild nausea as she ate her oatmeal before 7:30 a.m. She often felt like she was forcing herself to eat simply because she believed she had to. After speaking with a holistic nutritionist who explained the gentle pacing of an aging digestive system, Margaret decided to listen to her body instead of the clock. She began her mornings with a warm cup of herbal tea or plain water, allowing her stomach a full 2 hours to slowly wake up, produce its natural protective linings, and activate its enzymes. She didn't touch her breakfast until 8:15 a.m. The transformation was immediate. Her morning nausea completely disappeared. Her bloating resolved, and she found herself genuinely enjoying the taste and nourishment of her food again. Her stomach simply needed a little extra room to breathe, stabilizing blood sugar and avoiding the midday crash. One of the most profound challenges our bodies face as we age is a gradual increase in insulin resistance. Our cells naturally become a little less sensitive to the signals of insulin, meaning it takes longer and requires more effort for our system to clear glucose from the bloodstream after a meal. This is why seniors are statistically much more vulnerable to type 2 diabetes and metabolic fluctuations. When you consume breakfast too early in the morning, when your body is already under the influence of morning hormonal shifts, your blood sugar can remain elevated for hours. This prolonged elevation doesn't just drain your immediate physical energy. It causes subtle systemic inflammation throughout your blood vessels, leading to long-term cardiovascular wear and tear. Think of Charles, a 71-year-old former school principal from Melbourne, Australia. Charles was diagnosed with prediabetes and noticed that no matter how carefully he watched his sugar intake, his fasting blood glucose numbers in the morning were consistently higher than his doctor wanted them to be. He was eating his breakfast at 7 a.m. every single day. His physician suggested a beautifully simple adjustment. Shift breakfast at 8:30 a.m. to give his liver more time to naturally process stored glucose without the interference of new food. Charles took the advice. He spent his early morning hours doing gentle stretches and watering his porch plants instead of cooking. Within a month, his tracking number stabilized beautifully, dropping back into a perfectly healthy, safe range. By simply changing when he ate, without even changing what he ate, Charles protected his metabolic system and reclaimed control over his health future, reawakening cellular repair and reducing stiffness. When you extend the period between your last meal of the evening and your first meal the next morning, a practice often referred to as a gentle overnight fast, something truly remarkable happens inside your cells. When your body realizes that it doesn't have to constantly redirect its energy toward digesting new food, it initiates a vital survival mechanism called autophagy. Think of autophagy as your body's internal recycling program. Your cells begin to hunt down and clear out damaged proteins, metabolic waste, and old cellular debris that build up over time. For seniors over 70, the cellular house cleaning is incredibly important because the accumulation of cellular debris is the primary driver of chronic inflammation, joint stiffness, and that deep, systemic ache that makes your knees and hips feel restricted when you first get out of bed. Let's look at the experience of Clara, an 81-year-old retired librarian living in Edinburgh, Scotland. Clara loved her morning walks, but found that her ankles and lower back felt so incredibly stiff and unyielding in the early hours that she had to move with extreme caution. She had always eaten an early breakfast at 6:45 a.m. After reading a fascinating scientific article about the anti-inflammatory benefits of extended night rest for your cells, she decided to push her breakfast back to 8:45 a.m., creating a gentle 14-hour window of rest from dinner the night before. Within a few short weeks, Clara felt an undeniable lightness return to her joints. The stubborn, rigid morning stiffness in her lower back began to soften much faster each day. By allowing her body an extra hour or two of pure, uninterrupted cellular cleanup time past the dawn hours, she significantly turned down the volume on her internal inflammation, allowing her to step out onto the Scottish streets with a fluid, comfortable stride. Harmonizing your biological clock for better sleep. It might sound surprising, but the exact time you choose to sit down for breakfast has a massive, direct impact on how well you sleep at night. Our bodies are governed by an intricate internal clock known as the circadian rhythm, which controls everything from our body temperature to the release of sleep hormones like melatonin. While daylight is the primary signal that tells our brain it is time to be awake, food is the primary signal that tells our peripheral organs, like our liver, stomach, and muscles, that the day has officially begun. If you eat too early, especially before the sun has fully established itself or before your body has fully transitioned out of its sleep cycle, you send conflicting, chaotic signals to your internal clock. This circadian confusion makes it incredibly difficult for your body to know when to wind down at night, leading to that frustrating fragmented sleep and early morning awakening that plagues so many older adults. Consider the story of Robert, a 74-year-old avid woodworker from Sydney. Robert had no trouble falling asleep at night, but he would consistently wake up at 3 a.m., staring blankly at the ceiling for hours, unable to return to rest. He would then drag himself out of bed at 6 a.m. and immediately eat a heavy breakfast out of sheer boredom. A specialist at a local sleep clinic suggested that his early breakfast was inadvertently resetting his metabolic clock too early, essentially training his body to wake up in the middle of the night anticipating food. Robert consciously shifted his first meal to 8:15 a.m., creating a reliable, consistent buffer. Slowly but surely, his brain adjusted to the new schedule. His random 3 a.m. awakenings began to fade, and he started sleeping soundly through the night until 6:30 a.m. By synchronizing his meals with the true rhythms of the day, Robert restored the deep, restorative sleep his brain and body so desperately needed. Crafting your perfect, gentle morning flow. Embracing a later breakfast after 8 a.m. isn't about restriction, deprivation, or following a rigid, clinical diet plan. Instead, it is an invitation to slow down and design a beautiful, intentional morning routine that truly honors the stage of life you are in. It is about shifting your focus away from the clock and toward the natural, intuitive signals of your body. Your morning should be a time of gentle transition, a peaceful bridge between the rest of the night and the activity of the day. Think of Evelyn, a lovely 75-year-old woman from Toronto. Evelyn used to rush out of bed to cook because she felt it was an absolute chore she needed to get over with. When she decided to adopt the post-8:00 a.m. philosophy, her entire morning transformed into a sacred, peaceful ritual. She would wake up at 7 a.m., pour a warm glass of water with a squeeze of fresh lemon, and sit by her living room window to watch the birds and listen to the quiet city. She would perform 10 minutes of light, seated chair stretches to invite circulation into her legs. Only after her body felt fully awake, warm, and genuinely hungry around 8:30 a.m. would she step into her kitchen to prepare a beautiful, colorful breakfast of soft scrambled eggs and fresh fruit. Evelyn realized that this small delay gave her back her mornings. She was no longer rushing to feed a body that wasn't ready. She was celebrating her health with intelligence and grace. Caring for our health as we journey through our 70s, 80s, and beyond is about making these small, sophisticated, and deeply caring adjustments. It is about understanding that our bodies are beautiful, ever-changing systems that deserve to be listened to. By gently waiting until after 8 a.m. to enjoy your breakfast, you are giving your hormones time to balance, your digestion time to awaken, and your cells time to heal. I would love to hear from you now. What time do you typically eat your very first meal of the day? Have you ever noticed a morning energy crash or stiffness that might be connected to your routine? Please take a gentle moment to leave a comment down below. Your personal insights, questions, and stories are incredibly valuable to our warm, supportive community. If you found this guide deeply helpful and informative, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification bell so you never miss an expert guide to a long, vibrant, and independent life. Share this video with your friends, your neighbors, and anyone you love who deserves to age with strength and grace. Thank you so much for your time today. Take wonderful care of your health and keep moving forward with confidence.